I bought the storage unit because of the tool chest. It was an online auction, one of those pay today, clean it out by Sunday deals. Most units were full of old furniture and garbage bags, but this one had a red mechanic's chest right at the front. Even if the rest was junk, I figured I could flip the tools. The facility was behind a car wash, all metal doors and gravel lanes. The manager gave me a gate code, cut the old lock, and handed me a broom. "Anything inside is yours now," he said. "Just don't leave a mess." At first, it was exactly what I expected. Boxes of clothes, a cracked TV, 3 dining chairs. The tool chest was heavy but mostly empty. A few sockets, a rusted wrench, and an old flashlight. Then I noticed the boxes stacked against the back wall. They weren't dusty like everything else. Someone had moved them recently. I pulled them aside and found a black metal lockbox about the size of a suitcase. The edges were wrapped in duct tape. I should have called the manager. Instead, I opened it. Inside were zip ties, gloves, 3 phones with no cases, a roll of plastic sheeting, and a stack of driver's licenses held together with a rubber band. Not fake IDs, real ones. Different names, different faces, mostly women. My first thought was that I had found stolen property. My second thought was that whoever owned it might come back for it. I took pictures, backed out of the unit, and walked toward the office. That was when I noticed the manager wasn't at his desk anymore. The office door was locked. His truck was still parked outside. I called the number on the office window. It rang from somewhere nearby, not inside the office, behind me. The ringtone came from the row of units across the lane. I turned and saw one storage door open about 6 inches. The ringing stopped. I started walking toward my car, trying not to run. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. It rang again immediately. Then a text came through. Put it back. I ran. Behind me, a metal storage door slammed open. I heard shoes on gravel. I reached my car and grabbed the handle, but before I could open it, someone hit me from behind. A full-body shove drove me into the side mirror. My face caught the edge, and for a second, everything went white. A man grabbed my shirt and tried to pull me away from the car. I still had my keys in my hand. I swung backward and caught him somewhere in the face. He cursed and let go. I fell into the driver's seat. He lunged after me and got one arm inside before I could close the door. I slammed it on his forearm as hard as I could. He screamed. I did it again. This time he pulled free and I locked the doors. He stood outside my window, holding his arm against his chest. Baseball cap, gray work shirt, no mask, no panic, just anger. Then the gate started closing. I had been so focused on getting into the car that I hadn't noticed it. The keypad was outside the gate. My code would open it, but I would have to roll down the window or get out. The man saw me realize that. He smiled. I reversed hard, clipped the side of an empty unit, and turned down another lane. The facility was a maze of identical rows. Behind me, another man stepped out from between 2 units holding a crowbar. I drove over broken pallets and turned into the back lane, where a chain-link fence ran along the property. There was no exit back there, but there was a maintenance gate. It was closed with a padlock and a thin chain. I hit it. The first impact bent the gate, the second broke the chain. My bumper tore halfway off, but the car pushed through into the grass behind the car wash. I kept driving until I reached the main road, then called 911 from a gas station. Police searched the facility that night. The manager was found tied up inside an empty unit. He was alive, but badly beaten. He said 2 men had come in before closing and forced him to unlock the gate controls. They had been waiting for me to find the lockbox, or maybe waiting to see if I would. The unit had been rented under a stolen name. The auction happened because the bill stopped being paid, but police believed that part was accidental. The licenses belonged to robbery victims from 3 counties. Some were alive, some had never filed reports. 2 were still missing. Police never told me everything they found in that box. I'm not sure I want to know. What I remember most is the text. Put it back. Not, who are you? Not, what did you find? They already knew. Someone was watching the unit before I opened it. Maybe from the cameras, maybe from another locker. Either way, I went there thinking I had bought junk. I didn't realize I had bought the one thing someone was willing to hurt people to get back. I rented a storage unit after my divorce. I needed somewhere to put things I wasn't ready to deal with yet. Boxes of books, old kitchen stuff, Christmas decorations, and a mattress I kept telling myself I would sell. The facility was indoors, climate controlled, with cameras in every hallway. You needed one code for the main door and another for the elevator after 8 p.m. It felt safe enough. I usually went during the day, but one Thursday night I remembered I needed my passport from a filing box. My flight was the next morning, so around 10:15 I drove over. The office was closed, but renters still had access. I typed in my code, went to the 3rd floor, and walked down to Unit 318. The place was quiet, except for the hum of the air conditioning. As I unlocked my unit, I heard a door roll down somewhere behind me. I looked back. The hallway was empty. I figured someone else was using their unit and kept going. I found the filing box, but the passport wasn't in it. That meant it was probably behind the mattress, so I had to pull half the unit apart. About 10 minutes later, the hallway lights clicked off. Not completely. They dropped into motion sensor mode, leaving the hall dim. I stepped out and waved my arm. The lights came back on. That was when I saw shoes at the far end of the hallway. Just shoes. Someone was standing around the corner, mostly hidden behind the wall. When the lights came on, the shoes moved back. A man's voice said, "Sorry, didn't mean to scare you." He stepped out slowly with both hands visible. He was maybe 40, wearing jeans and a faded work shirt. Normal looking. Tired. He said he had a unit down the hall and was trying not to set off the motion lights because they gave him headaches. It was strange, but not strange enough for me to panic. I said okay and went back into my unit. But I didn't like that he stayed in the hallway. I found my passport in a shoebox near the back. When I turned around, the man was standing in the doorway. Not inside, just blocking the opening. He smiled and said, "You here alone?" I lied and said my brother was downstairs. He looked past me at the boxes. "Moving out?" "Just grabbing something." He nodded, but he didn't move. Then he said, "Your brother know you're on 3?" That question told me he didn't believe me. I picked up my phone and said, "I'm calling him now." The man stepped forward. I backed up and hit the mattress behind me. Storage units look roomy until someone is standing in the only exit. He told me to relax. Then he asked for my keys. Not my wallet, not my phone, my keys. I asked why. He said, "Because you're leaving with me." That was when I realized I had walked myself into a metal box at the end of an empty hallway. I threw the shoebox at his face. It startled him enough for me to push past. He grabbed my sweater and tore it at the shoulder, but I got into the hallway. I ran toward the elevator. He was right behind me. The doors were closed, and waiting there would get me caught, so I went for the stairwell. The stairwell opened, but on the lower landing, I saw a chair wedged under the second floor handle. Not blocking my side, blocking anyone else from opening that door into the stairwell. He had prepared it before he came after me. I kept going down anyway. On the second floor landing, he caught up. He grabbed my hair and pulled me backwards so hard I hit the wall. I still had my keys in my hand. I drove one key between his fingers and pushed hard. He shouted and let go. I ran down the last flight and slammed into the first floor door. It opened into the loading area. A couple was unloading a couch from a pickup. I ran straight to them and yelled that a man was chasing me. The husband grabbed a metal dolly and stood between me and the stairwell door. The man came out seconds later, saw them, and stopped. Then he walked back into the stairwell like he had nothing to do with me. Police found him hiding inside an empty unit on the fourth floor. It wasn't rented to him. Inside, they found a sleeping bag, water bottles, women's clothing, and a notebook with unit numbers written in it. Mine was circled. They said he had been living in the facility for at least 2 weeks. He moved between unrented units and watched who came alone. What scares me is how normal he sounded at first. He didn't rush me. He didn't look like someone hiding in a building. He just waited until I was deep enough inside my own unit that the hallway became the only way out. I moved my stuff the next day. People tell me I should rent another unit because the boxes still take up half my apartment. I always say no. A storage unit feels private, but it isn't. It is a room where the door rolls down from the outside, and if someone blocks it, your things become walls. I worked the front desk at a storage facility during college. It was one of those big outdoor places with rows of orange doors, keypad gates, and cameras that made customers feel safer than they probably were. Most of my job was taking payments, cutting locks on abandoned units, and reminding people they couldn't sleep there. The manager always said that last rule like it was funny. It stopped being funny after unit C17. The woman who rented it was named Marlene. She was in her 60s, quiet, always paid cash, and never caused problems. She came in once or twice a week with a tote bag, stayed about 20 minutes, then left. Nothing about her stood out until one Friday evening when she came into the office and asked if we had changed the gate code. We hadn't. She said someone had been inside her unit. I asked if anything was missing. She said no. Then she said, something was added. I walked out with her to C17. The lock didn't look tampered with. No scratches, no cut marks, nothing. Marlene opened it herself and rolled the door up. The unit was neatly packed. Plastic bins, old furniture wrapped in sheets, boxes labeled in black marker. At the back, between 2 stacks of bins, was a folding chair. She said it wasn't hers. On the chair was an empty water bottle and a fast food receipt from that afternoon. I tried to make it sound less bad than it was. Maybe someone had opened the wrong unit. Maybe the door hadn't closed all the way. Maybe a worker left it there by mistake. Marlene looked at me and said, my lock was on it. That was the part I couldn't explain. The problem was that camera 6, the one facing row C, had been out since the storm earlier that week. The gate camera showed Marlene entering that morning and leaving 20 minutes later. No one else used her code. The manager told me to write an incident report and offer her a new lock. That was it. Marlene came back the next day with her son. He said she had gone home and checked every bin. Nothing valuable was missing. But in one box, buried under old photo albums, she found a phone. Not her phone, a cheap prepaid phone wrapped in a sock. It had one contact saved, C17. Her son called police from the parking lot. An officer came, took the phone, looked around the unit, and asked us for every camera angle we had. That was when I remembered something. The empty unit beside Marlene's, C18, had been rented online 3 weeks earlier. Nobody had ever come into the office for it because online renters got a gate code automatically. C18 was paid for with a prepaid card. The officer asked us to open it. The manager cut the lock while all of us stood back. The door rolled up, and for a few seconds, nobody spoke. C18 was almost empty. There was a sleeping bag on the floor, snack wrappers, a bucket, and a small battery fan. Against the wall shared with Marlene's unit was a hole about the size of a dinner plate. Someone had cut through the metal divider. On the floor beside it was a cordless saw. Through the hole, you could see into C17. Not the front, the back corner, exactly where the folding chair had been placed. The officer found another hole lower down, hidden behind Marlene's bins. Whoever rented C18 had been crawling through when she wasn't there. They weren't stealing from her. They were using her unit. Police later found out Marlene had not been the first. The same person had rented units beside older customers, people who came alone and kept regular schedules. He would cut through the divider, hide inside the victim's unit, and wait. For what, police didn't say clearly. But the prepaid phone had photos on it. Photos taken from inside C17 while Marlene stood near the front sorting boxes. Photos of her car. Photos of her license plate. One photo showed her house from across the street. They caught him 2 days later because he came back for the sleeping bag. He climbed the fence after hours, not knowing police had put a camera inside C18. He was 32, lived out of his van, and had no connection to Marlene except that he had seen her at the facility and decided she looked easy to follow. That was how the detective said it. Easy to follow. Marlene moved everything out the next week. I helped her son load the boxes. When we got to the back corner, I saw the hole again, patched with new metal and silver screws. It still looked wrong, like the wall had become something you couldn't trust. I quit a month later. Storage units are strange places. Everyone thinks of them as private because you put your own lock on the door. But the walls are thin, the rows are quiet, and most people walk inside alone. Marlene thought someone had gotten into her unit. The truth was worse. Someone had rented the space beside hers and slowly made a door.